Today we're going to work a little bit with Excel and we're going to change a bunch of things. So first of all, we're going to start with a spreadsheet, a brand new spreadsheet. We're going to put some bowling scores in there and some bowling members in there. And we're going to go from here. So if you want to pause this video and then do it on your own screen, you can type in your information and then you'll be ready to go along with this. All right, some of the changes that we're going to make. First of all, we are going to select cell A1 and we'll change the font size. So we should be in our Home tab. We can change our font size real easy. Say we want 24. And again, this won't be anything new because we can just select our color. We can make it bold if we want. We can change the font. Everything that we've done before, we can do right here. And remember that even though this is pretty huge, it still is all contained in cell A1. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about a range of cells. Range of cells is a group of cells. So for example, if I were to select starting with A3 and selecting just by dragging that green handle over to there, my cell range would be A3 through F3. And when you write that, if you were to write that, it would look like this: A3 through F3. So if you were to write what range you want to cover, it would look like this. This here means through. So you would be looking at all the cells between A3 and F3. I'm just going to erase that now. Okay, so that's our first range. We can do a number of things by selecting a range. I can go up to my bucket and I can fill in a color. So now you can see that range of cells is selected and it's colored in. Next, select the range A8 through F9. So again, if I were to write this range down right here, it would be A8 through F9. And that's the way the range looks like when you write it out. Or if you see it on your instructions, it'll look like that. All right, so once we've got that selected, we're going to add a color to that range also. All right, so you can see how you can design your spreadsheet. One other thing is if you go to your view menu, you can turn off the grid lines and you can see what it's going to look like when you print. The grid lines will not print. They are just there for a guide. I like to have them on though so I can see them as a guide. Okay, going back to your home menu again. Okay, next we're going to work a little bit with row height and column width. We'll start with our columns. Say that we want to make all of our columns a little wider. I'm going to select column A just by touching the letter on the top. I'm going to grab this handle right here, this green handle, and I'm going to drag it across all of my columns. By doing this, now when I go up here, you can see these double lines in letter F. I can go to those double lines and I can drag a little bit wider and every column will be affected. If I were to just select this range, I cannot adjust the column width. You can see those double lines are not there. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the row height. I'm going to go over to row 3. I'm going to grab the green circle, bring it down so I select rows 3 through 9, or whatever rows I want. I'm going to go down to this double line by number 9, and I'm going to drag down and make it a little wider, and you will see that every row height will change. You will notice by default the words are at the bottom of the line. Okay, so next I'm going to select the range A3 through F9. And what I want to do is I'm going to go up to my options up here, right under this one that I just showed you there. I'm going to click on that where the alignment is. I want to put it in the middle, and this will set my information middle from top to bottom. Then I'm going to select cells B3 through F9. And again, by doing this, if I type something in those blank cells, it's going to take on the look that I'm setting right now. And I'm going to take these, and I'm not only going to have it middle aligned, but I want it also to be centered. So now you'll see that the text is right inside the middle of the cell. You can also go through, I'm going to select A3 through F3. I can underline my titles if I want. I can bold. Maybe I want them just a little bit bigger because they are my headings. Okay, so again, that is doing some shading and changing the format of your cells. And we talked a little bit about ranges. Sorry. All right, then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole table again, A3 through F9, and there's going to be some times that you want to put the borders around. So we're still on our home screen, and then we're going to click on our borders, and I'm going to choose all borders. And now you can see there's a black border around there because remember the grid lines do not print out. And again, I can go to my view menu. I can shut off the grid lines and you can see what it's going to look like. I can shut off the headings too, and you'll see what the sheet is going to look like when you print it out, because it does not print the headings and it does not print the grid lines. Those are for your benefit. All right, next we're going to create some formulas. And formulas are the power of your spreadsheets. Okay, so to start with, we're going to go into cell B8. And we want to total up or add up those numbers. And I'm going to show you a bunch of different ways, and then you'll pick the one that you like the best. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do when we want to add up those numbers, in order to create a formula, we need to type the equal sign. The equal sign tells Excel it's going to be the formula. It's going to add, subtract, multiply, divide, something like that. So we can take the numbers that are in this column. We can take 120 plus 99 plus 130 plus 130 plus 213, and when I hit return, it will add up those numbers. If for some reason I did not put the equal sign in front of there and I hit return, you will see that it will just look like some text in there. But the equal sign is an indication, again, to Excel that you want it to be a formula, that it wants you to compute something. Okay, so that looks really good. That is the correct answer. But what happens, you can see it's 562. What happened if Fred bowls 150? It's still, the total is 562. Okay, so it is wrong. So that formula is not going to work. So I'm going to put that back to 120. So instead of putting in raw numbers like that, I'm going to go up to my formula bar. I'm going to get rid of those. And what I want to do is start putting in cell references. So what I want my formula to be here is I want to take whatever's in this cell plus whatever's in this cell plus whatever in this cell and plus whatever's in this cell to equal up. So whatever I have in there, it'll always add up. So the 120 is in cell B4. So we're going to take equal B4, whatever's in cell B4, and you can see that now it's starting to match our formula, selecting the cell, plus whatever's in B5, plus whatever's in B6, plus whatever's in B7. And if I hit return, I get the same number, 562. But when I click on that, when I click on cell B8, you can see up in my formula bar that I have what are called cell references. So up in here, you can see that it's a cell reference. So now when I go into Fred's score, you can see the total is 562. If I change it to 150, his score, it is going to update it because again, it's going to take whatever in that cell and add to the rest. Something else you can do, we'll go to the next one. And again, to start a formula, we put in the equal sign. And it is called sum. That is when you add up, S-U-M. Or you can choose one of the options up there. Then I'm going to click on the first cell, and I'm going to drag through. And you will notice now it says sum C4 colon C7. That is a cell reference. When I hit return, there is your formula. So the sum function is going to add up whatever's in there. So if you remember the function, you can type it in. And you will notice up here, remember when I talked about cell references? It's the beginning, colon, the end of your range. Okay, so if we go to cell D8, another way of doing it is coming up to here where this FX is. If I click on it one time, it's going to put in the equal sign. I can choose the word sum from here. Again, I can click on cell D4 and drag down the blue handle through D7. I hit my return to accept the formula, and there it is. If I go down to cell B9, we want to figure out the average of the scores. Okay, so basically what it's going to do is take 150 plus 99 plus 130 plus 213 and divide by 4. But again, there is a function for average. You could probably figure it out, it's average. So again, if I go up to my function, my fx up here, click on that, I can choose the word average, and you can see there's lots of functions here that we can use, and we're going to only use about 6 or 7 of them. So we're going to choose average, and we can do the same thing. I'm going to click up in this cell B4, drag it through B7 because I want to average out those 4 numbers, and when I hit return, there it is. So we'll do the same thing with C9. I'm going to choose average, and I'm going to pick the range of cells that I wanted to average and then hit return to enter it. And with the last one, the function, average, choose the cells and hit the return. And you will see that the average is right there. Okay, something you'll notice now is, that's kind of weird how they ended up the same average. Something else you can notice now that it has some decimal places. Okay, this is where you'll have to decide, do you want to keep 2 decimal places or do you want it to be fewer or more? So I'm going to go to my home tab, and then I'm going to go to this button here, the ABC 1, 2, 3. And if I click on that, you can see the top 2, you have an increase decimal. And you can see by clicking on that, my decimal's gotten a little bit bigger, or decrease. Say I only want 1 decimal place. And so you can adjust your decimal places there. You can also say that I put I'm just going to go down here and type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.78. I go down here, I can change this number. If I go up to this ABC 123 again, the number format, I can go down to currency, and you'll notice that it puts a $sign and comma. If I choose accounting, the $sign stays to the extreme left. I can have just a general number, the one that I chose from before. I can put commas in there. And again, all of your options, and we're going to hit some more of these number formats after a while, but the ones you're going to work on right now is the currency, the number, using some commas, increasing your decimals, decreasing your decimals. All right, I think it's ready. You are ready for your assignment. Just look on Canvas and you will see your assignment for today.